Hello, my name is Paul Morse, Senior Managing Director of Cushman Wakefield. I'm pleased to welcome you to Cushman Wakefield's face-to-face interview session, where we interview city leaders and business professionals on topics of interest to you, your office decision-making, and your business in the GTA. Today, it's my pleasure to introduce John Campbell, President and CEO of Toronto Waterfront Revitalization Corporation. Welcome, John. I think it's safe to say that this recent discussion and debate in the media with the Portlands has sharpened people's focus on waterfront and really the good governance and leadership of you and your team, so congratulations on that. But it also brings to light the immensity and the complexity of the project that you've been leading over the years. Could you give the audience, our audience, a little bit of an idea of the scope of the waterfront itself?
Certainly, Paul. I mean, it's probably one of the largest urban renewal projects in the world, certainly the largest in North America. It's 2,000 acres or 800 hectares, depending on what measurement scheme you want to use. It's really land for 40,000 residential units, so a population of 110 to 120,000 people. Commercial space for about 10 million square feet of office and commercial space. So again, a focus on jobs, plus areas for recreation, retail, entertainment, culture, and so on and so forth. So it's a very, very large project that will take probably, it's hard to say how long it'll take because in fact it depends on the market absorption of that inventory, but we're looking at probably 30 years to do it all. And it seemed to be about a $30 to $35 billion total investment project, of which $6 to $8 billion is required for the public infrastructure, roads, parks, sewer, water, and so on and so forth. So it's a very, very large undertaking over many years.
What strikes me is the last 4 years, we've had extraordinary growth in office development downtown. 4 new buildings, 4.5 million square feet built and leased. And I'm thankful that Cushman Wakefield has played a role in the success of many of these buildings when we represented TELUS and PricewaterhouseCoopers and most recently, Hines. We've been engaged by Hines to find the major tenants for the Bayside project. And we've had a long-standing relationship with Waterfront, yes, John, which we're very proud of. Now, when you look at that growth and you look ahead, what kind of tenants do you think we'll see in the waterfront in the next 5 years?
Well, first of all, I think we find that the sort of that office growth is very encouraging for us. It's very exciting because we really want to get a mix down there. To build a community, we need to have both jobs and residences and facilities for recreation and so forth. So that growth in the job market is very, very exciting for us. But I think what we're trying to do is use the waterfront as an extension of downtown, but really focus on that cluster, the ICT cluster, those that can use the intelligent communications technology sort of aspects to drive their business. For example, we just announced a carrier this summer for our open access high-speed broadband network, which will be, I think, a very novel approach in North America. It's an open access system, very low cost, which we hope will attract those customers, those companies that want to come down and utilize a very, very high-speed, low-cost broadband network. So, building on the success of Chorus that's down there, really trying to build a cluster down there that can utilize that bandwidth to their advantage.
One word that whenever we've talked about waterfront, you always use the word revitalize.
Yes.
Revitalize versus redevelop. Yes. And that struck me when you first started talking about this 5 plus years ago. And what we've seen with Chorus and George Brown, and then even the residential development that's taking place with Great Gulf and with Hines, the buildings are quite extraordinary. I mean, this is not a plain Jane type of neighborhood that you're building.
That's quite true. We're really focusing on sustainability and great design. Those are very important elements to build a waterfront that we can all be proud of. We really want it to be a signature waterfront. So I think the revitalization is sort of a key element in what we're proposing, which is really, yes, we're driven by real estate economics. That's very important. That's pragmatic, but also being guided by public policy. How do you stop sprawl, promote transit, promote sustainability, promote high quality of life? So in the long run, Toronto has a quality of place, driven by the waterfront, for example, that really attracts the best and brightest people that allows us to be competitive on a global scale long term. So the talent pool will stay here, will come here because the quality of life and quality of place we have here is exceptional. So we're busy building the physical infrastructure to that society when in fact it already exists, I would say, in Toronto insofar it's diverse multicultural society. We are probably one of the most multicultural cities in the world, if not the most. 240 different groups speaking 140 languages. So it's really quite a unique asset we have here as a community.
You travel a lot, and I know you've traveled to learn and visit other major urban centers to see what's happening in their waterfront. And you and your team have used that to kind of shape the thinking of what we'll see here in Toronto. When you're traveling, what observations would you make of how people see us or the message that you're conveying to them as you're pitching, let's say, new business?
I think we're almost sort of unsung to a large degree across the world. I think when we started to promote the waterfront opportunities to the development community around the world, it was kind of, we were sort of a bit unknown, I think. And I think that that's now changing, and people are waking up to the fact that Toronto, as a home base, has access to about 135 million people within a 1-hour flight in the largest free trade zone in the world. So it's a phenomenal opportunity for companies to come in and base themselves here in North America as a sort of an anchor point, because we have the workforce, we have that multicultural society that welcomes outsiders. So I think it's a really great opportunity now for companies to look at Toronto as the home base for North America.
One of the observations that I'd make in the last few years, we've seen certainly the success of the TELUS building at 25 York with Hoop and Menkes, and then GWL with the PwC building, which is now substantially leased. GWL would love to build and will likely announce another building either later this quarter or early next quarter. And then you see new firms moving into the city, Coca-Cola that will occupy space in the old Toronto Sun building on King Street, and Google expanding. These are exciting days for us, John, and you know, we do go back to some of those more challenging early 90s, but so it's, I think, satisfying for all of us. But I want to credit you and your team for the great work that's been done at Waterfront. You've shown tremendous leadership, and we're delighted that you've been able to join us today for this conversation.
Well, thank you very much, but I think the credit goes to our team and the public who participated in all the plans and all the thinking and all the work that's gone on.
Thank you.
Thank you.